Welcome to another episode of A Come Together. And we're live? We're live. We're live. Dalton, welcome back, brother. Excited to have you back, man.
I'm excited to be back again. This
Dude,
is fun.
I felt last time like we got cut off. Well, I cut us off, but I felt we could have gone for a while, so I'm happy that we're doing part two. What?
Yeah, that's good.
Sweet.
We're celebrating.
We're celebrating today. Dalton just closed a deal, which we're very happy about. As someone that has never closed a real estate deal, despite having my license for like a summer.
And I just found that out today. Listen to your podcast with Chris.
Oh, then I
You
did
also
that?
did some.
Yeah, dude. I'll show you after my wallet. I still have my picture from my New York State certification or whatever it was.
It's crazy.
But
New York's a different beast too. Like
it was tough.
I can imagine.
As hell, dude. But I had to cheat to pass the test. I think everyone cheats. I think that's what I heard.
It's not like much to pass, like to get into it. You know
So yeah, when I was in college, I remember I was a creative writing and literature major. I had tons of free time. I was just hanging out, drinking a lot, hanging out with my buddies, playing basketball, and I was like, maybe I'll try for my real estate license. I went online on Groupon, cheers, and I found those like Groupon classes, like like off like $1,000, $50 for like a real estate like class, learn to be an agent, whatever.
Yep.
So I signed up for one of those classes. And the reason why it's like $50 is because it doesn't prepare you at all for anything. So I spent all the time on these modules and like going through these slides, and I took the test. I'm like, I don't know any material that's on here, none.
Well, that's the crazy thing is the test itself, the material you study is so different than the test itself.
Yes.
And then you get into real estate and it's totally different
from the test too.
What they teach you in the school, because the school's very like law and literature and like basically just how to not get yourself end up in jail.
Yeah.
And then you get into the real life and you're like, I have to learn sales, I have to learn interpersonal relationship building, I have to all marketing, like all of this stuff that you didn't even know.
Not prepared for.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they do that probably, or if I were to do that, the reason I would do that is because I would say that you can learn all those kind of skills, but you can't like most of the stuff that's on the test are legal and are things like if you're going to be representing someone buying a house, there's a lot of repercussions to that.
Yeah.
And so like they want to make sure that all like the technical bases are covered, and they figure that like sales and like interpersonal relationships and being on top of your leads and following up and all that stuff like that comes with time anyway,
Yeah, that's why it's good to get under some good like leadership or mentorship once you're new in the business, and where you can learn that stuff as well.
And you said that you so we were going to pick right up. You said that so we ended last episode ending with you leaving Afghanistan with the shit show that it was. and then we had to run out. And then you were telling me that you started doing real estate while you were still in the military?
Yeah, so I would have gotten back from my deployment and had 1 month until my date of separation from the military.
What does that mean? That means like they still pay you for a month or whatever. They still keep you on.
Yeah, like most people, you get back from a deployment, you continue your career. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gotten back, and I had 1 month left in my time of service that I signed up for until I would have been out.
Yeah.
And it's really a process if you want to prepare yourself to get out. Like they have classes that you go through. It's called TAPS.
What's that?
It's a transition assistance program. And you can do it at any point in your career. Most people suggest do it at least 1 year before your date of separation.
Right.
In my class, there's half the class was raising their hands there 1 week from their separation.
Wow.
And I'm thinking we get so much information on how to utilize our benefits and prepare ourselves for the next stage of our life. And you guys are only getting here 1 week before your separation. How are you going to use or implement any of this?
Yeah.
So fortunately, I had a buddy who had told me about the program, and just at this point, I'm getting my real estate license while I'm on my deployment. That's why I was studying. I was taking the tests out there.
Was it a lot of work? Did you put a lot of time into it or not really?
Yeah, fortunately, I had a lot of time. When I wasn't flying missions, I was free. So it was the gym. It was cafeteria, and it was studying for real estate. While everyone else was playing video games, I was studying for real estate.
Good for you, man.
And so from there, man, I forgot the question now.
It was just that you were studying for it and preparing yourself before you left for coming
That's
out.
right. So yeah, so I got back from it. I decided I was going to extend my contract with the military 1 year longer so that I didn't just get out and have 1 month to get out. So that gave me enough time from there to start planning and preparing and just setting myself up. And that's when I decided I was going to start interning with a real estate brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do my full day at work with the military. I'd get off, and then I would go to a brokerage, and they would let me do all kind of their admin work and anything I can do.
By the way, that's the best. It's hands-on experience. Like that's the best way. That's a better way to learn than to study, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because it's real world scenarios.
Yeah.
Like we said, the stuff from the test isn't what's applicable that much in your day to day.
Yeah.
So I was getting that day to day. I was kicking that learning curve early.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I was doing open houses on the weekend. Fortunately, again, my fiance, she's off doing her thing with schooling. We're not living together yet, so I'm still able to just go all in on my self-development and focus on my future. And so, yeah, doing the real estate stuff. And then there's a program called SkillBridge in the military. It's open to all branches. And I hope people hearing this in the military will take more advantage of it, because a lot of people don't know about it or don't take advantage of it. SkillBridge.
Yeah.
Up to 6 months prior to your date of separation, you can get approved for an internship where they have a list of places you can go, and if it's not on there, you can try and get that company onboarded.
Right.
And I found a real estate brokerage who was, they had a hybrid model. So it was like online / in person. Because if it's all online, they don't let you actually leave the base.
Yeah.
Because why would they pay for you to leave and when it's just online? So this hybrid model worked out for what I was trying to do, which was get to Florida and be with my fiance.
Nice.
Where
were you at this point?
Where was I? I was in California.
Okay, gotcha.
My last base.
Gotcha.
In the military. Yeah, Northern Cali. And so, yeah, it gave me the opportunity because I was looking with different brokerages, some in Tampa, some in like Miami, one's staying in Cali. So there were options, but
you're looking at the big names like Douglas Elliman or whatever. Or you're looking at like smaller shops that are giving you more like.
I was looking at whatever was on the list.
Gotcha.
And I did reach out to the brokerage I'm with now, One Sotheby's, because the broker, I was in the Air Force with his son.
Oh, cool! Really?
So I had flown with his son, and there was the connection made. And I reached out to him, and Sotheby's is a luxury brand, and so they kind of don't take brand new agents.
Yeah.
So he was willing to try and make it work, but because they weren't already on the list, it's like a 6-month process to get them on the list. So I was like, dang, that's not going to work out. And I'm not.
You do all those like luxury luxury homes in like Miami and Surfside and all those places. That's the kind of places we cover.
They're all over.
Yeah.
Sotheby's is like the #1 global brand.
They're global.
Luxury brand. Yeah, they're global. They're all over the world. Yeah.
Gotcha. Bigger than Douglas? Bigger than
Douglas. Douglas Elliman, I don't even think they know about them in like Spain.
Really?
Or like around the world. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. But in my mind, Sotheby's is the best. And so I was super excited to be joining them under the leadership of of the father that I flew in the Air Force with. And then it didn't work out, but there was an option with eXp Realty, which is kind of this newer real estate model. They're very like, the brokerage itself is online.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was with the hybrid model. So I was able to move to Florida, be with my fiance. I only got approved for 4 months early. And so for 4 months, I got to move here. I got to start practicing real estate. It was my full-time thing. And so I just hit the ground.
You're getting paid by the military?
While still getting paid by the military. For 4 months.
Dude.
So it gives me 4 months of like great...
transitional time. Seriously.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Because I was telling Chris yesterday, like, I spent 2 months doing sales in the city. I didn't do any sales. I just lost a ton of money. It would be so helpful to have that opportunity to like have a learning curve.
Yeah.
And like do that, Like I spent money and time going from my parents upstate to the city every day. I'd take a bus for 2 hours, or I'd drive in and spend $30 each way to cross the GW bridge. And you get lunch and you go out and like all of a sudden you're like, where'd all this money go? And how come I'm not making anything yet?
Right, nothing's coming in, and it takes sometimes months.
Yeah, for people, and most people don't have that opportunity. It's awesome.
Yeah, so for 4 months, I was very blessed because I was able to kind of go through my training period, get out there, start marketing myself. The only thing is, if I closed a deal, I couldn't take that income because you can't get paid while you're on
right.
the military's internship.
Can you get a bonus or can you get like anything?
No,
No.
you can't get paid at all. So if you time it right, actually, I was only approved for 3 months, but 1 month of that was they call it leave, your time off, your paid time off.
Sure.
And so I had 1 month of that. So I used that. And within that time, even though I'm still with the military, you can now double dip.
Cool.
Only in that time
right.
period where it's your time off.
So you close anything then?
So fortunately for me, right as my time in service ended, I got my first rental deal, and it was from my family. So it's not like
How does that rental deals here? Was it here? Where was it?
it was here.
So
Yeah.
rental deal. I know that in the city, typically they do. I think 1 month rent or 20% of the annual. Or I think 20% of the annual rent. What do they do here?
It's different per brokerage and per realtor, and everyone takes whatever commission they're willing
First month,
to.
last month, or 10% of the year.
The typical is 1 month,
Gotcha.
and then that's split between both sides. If
Right.
there's
Oh,
agent
really?
on both sides.
Okay, gotcha.
So then you're getting half of that.
And then you're getting a percentage of that because you're the agent under brokerage. So the brokers take X. Like, let's say you
And then
get
the brokerage takes another.
you get 1 month. You get 1 month. You split that 50-50 between the buyers and the seller. Between both representatives, and then you get, let's say, 30% of that half that first month's rent.
If my broker's only giving me 30%, I would have quit already.
Yeah.
Now, is that what they did in New York?
Dude, in New York,
low? Mine's 80-20. But I also
you get 80, they get 20.
They keep 20, I keep 80.
That's a lot.
And so normally it's like 70-30. They keep 30, I got 80-20. And then, and as you progress through your career and as you bring them more money, you can renegotiate the commission split.
Yeah.
And so, for now, that's what it is.
That's awesome.
It is.
That's awesome, by the way. I think mine was 60-40 in the brokerage's favor. So I'd get 40% of the 1 month's rent for closing the deal because they claim they don't claim they have the leads and they have the they gave you all the work, and so they're
right. And if a brokerage is giving you a lot, it can be worth it to split that with them. EXP, it was like one of those ones where it was like 90-10, and so it's more attractive, but it's also an online brokerage, so you don't get that face-to-face with your broker. You don't have that like in-office presence. So that's why I say every brokerage is different. Now there's 100%. You keep 100% of your commission. I'm like, but those brokerages give
why do they do
nothing.
That? Oh,
they give nothing.
It's just a title. It's just something for you to just a brokerage for you to associate.
Park your license.
Right.
Exactly. But you're not really going to get anything out of it.
So what do they get out of that? If I'm a brokerage and you're keeping 100% and I'm giving you 100%,
you probably have a monthly fee or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
That would be my guess. And then they're just betting on a bunch of agents who may or may not do business with them, don't really do much for them, but they're paying a monthly subscription, basically.
Yeah.
So there's all these different models.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. So I started with EXP during that internship, and then not long after that realized it wasn't. I was actually on a team because it was through this internship, and it was like prior military people who knew about this program, got their real estate team on the program. And then they're all in California. I'm the only agent in Florida. And I had a lot of access to them. And they had a ton of resources for me. Like for the first 3 months of living here, I was just like on their portal every day, studying, learning. There was a ton of good stuff. But I didn't have that support. I didn't have that mentorship that I was hoping for. Yeah. So that's when I was like, okay. Actually, I didn't even reach out. The broker I was talking about commented on my Instagram story and was like, hey, I think it's time we re-engage.
I think you're doing well. Dude, did you make that story? Did you make that video that was in your story the other day? You had a funny video in your story, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, about shit, dude. You have to pull it up. I don't remember what it was, but it was super well edited. It was funny, and it was about like that feeling of like, oh man.
Wait, was it like the avocado toast thing?
Yes, the avocado toast thing. That when you stop buying avocado toast, you can afford all your apartments.
I didn't make it, but I was dying laughing when I saw that because that's like total Dave Ramsey's big on. Like I think that comes from him, where he's like, if people just stopped buying avocado toast,
dude, it's like $15 for a slice of sourdough bread.
Here's your sourdough with some avocado. Give me $15. Yeah, no, our generation's financial problems would be solved if we just stopped stopped buying avocado toast.
Yeah.
That's it. We would have own houses, mansions.
Sure,
boats.
dude. Sure, for sure.
So that video cracked me up. They did a very good job. I wish I could make videos that good.
You should work on that too, because I feel like that's what would make a difference in like today's world, what people are looking for, especially like as the younger generations becoming adults, and they're I don't even know what to call it, the younger generation, right? I don't even know what the term is, but
Right.
kids that were growing up on social media with reels and with all and videos and stuff and entertainment like mixed with business.
Yeah.
It's great advertising.
It really is, and I used to do that. Like back when I was with the last brokerage, I was trying heavily to focus on. You can scroll through my Instagram and see a couple. I
Yeah.
was trying to make like edutainment
Videos,
videos where
yeah.
it's like educational and entertainment.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I got good feedback. But dude, I don't like
It's a lot
the
of work.
process of trying to film my whole day or like shoot all these videos and then sit down, edit them, and then it's just like it's exhausting.
Yeah, dude.
And it's not what I wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
So if I could,
By the way, that's why I don't do reels for my own podcast, dude. It's because I don't have the patience for it.
yeah, it's a lot. I mean, eventually maybe
I'm gonna hire
I
someone to
can
do it,
hire
dude.
somebody,
Yeah.
and that would be ideal. But it's a lot, and honestly, I have been having this resistance with real estate, which has also kind of shifted my mentality towards like
A personal resistance?
hard for me to want to put in that additional work to like shoot videos and stuff.
What do you mean resistance? Like from yourself? Like you're not sure whether you want to stay in it or not?
Yeah, so for me, real estate was bridging that gap between ideally becoming an investor in real estate at some point, owning my own portfolio, scaling that through rentals.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't just get out of the military with little income and jump into that.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, it was like, oh, well, I can get my real estate license. I can learn the ins and outs of the business. Sure. I can build capital, keep that as my business, and then find deals and bring them in as my as I go along.
Yeah.
However, 3 years into the business, I realized that like I'm not fully fulfilled in my role.
Sure.
It's that I think coupled with the disconnect after being in the military. I think there's like a silent battle that all veterans go through. It's like a mental struggle, just of like lack of purpose or fulfillment or whatever it is. What's that?
You got to do ibogaine, you know, or shrooms or some kind of psychedelic or something like that.
Right, to pull me out of that. Yeah, I
even
agree.
thinking about that. Well, also being a real estate agent is also. I mean, you work as hard as you choose to work.
Right.
There's a joke that every Jewish mom in South Florida is a real estate agent, you know, because like whenever they feel like, you know, they have 3, 4, 5 kids, and whatever work you feel like doing, you can do, and the days that you want to work, you do, and if you don't want to do a show, you cancel, and like it's okay, no one really cares, you know, but, like
right.
Or you could be like, I have a friend of mine from my gap year, and his dad passed away. I think when he was a junior or senior in high school, and he got his real estate license as soon as he went to college, and he started hustling like crazy. And he was able to take his family on like this vacation to Israel from America. Like let's say I don't know exactly. Let's say 4 or 5 people, fly them across the world. You know, put them up in this hotel for 10 days, and take them back. And because he spent a year and a half, 2 years hustling his ass off, you know, and he did it, and like he turned it into like a legitimate business. He became he got his own brokerage, license, and he opened the brokerage in his own name, and he's doing his own thing. But like that, as you know, like there's everything in between the Jewish moms and that kind of guy, you know.
Yeah, it's a full scale spectrum of like the agents who are running their business like a business. They show up every day, they're kicking ass, and the people who wake up and they wait until something falls in their lap.
Yeah, check it out, go online, do boxers all day,
right?
Zoom calls,
hanging out at the pool, someone gives you a call,
yeah.
You know? And so I've always tried to be the person that is very disciplined, schedule, routine, and for me, you know, there's a lot of things I love about real estate. There's a lot of things I hate about real estate. Sure. And so trying to find fine balance between that. Honestly, I couldn't tell you where I'm at with it right now because I've been battling with like where I want to take it. Mm-hmm. Trying to remember that this wasn't my end goal, that this is just like a part of the process. And I think in life, there's a fine balance of like doing things that you don't like, sacrificing for the greater good, and also remembering that you have to chase what really lights you up
Fulfills you, yeah.
and have fulfillment.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what are you living?
Yeah.
Like, what's the purpose of life?
Yeah.
You know, I think there's too many people that get to that end stage and they're like, I wish I would have done things differently.
Yeah.
I hear it all the time. I've asked very successful real estate developers, people who are older, wiser, and I'm like, what would you have done differently? Or if you could go back, and they're like, I wouldn't have done it. I would have done it totally something different, you know?
They say that?
And I'm like, yeah. I've talked to a billionaire who's like top 10 on the Forbes list, and he's said the same thing.
Really?
You know, I'm like, is that true though? Because you have so
think
much, you have such a legacy.
I think it is, dude. The only reason why I think that is because especially people that are billionaires, especially people that have like built that much, there's a level of trying to accomplish something. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times if you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, you turn to money or business or power, right? Because like if you're trying to find meaning, if you're trying to find, someone that will accept you in your life. Let's say you were rejected as a kid your whole life, or you felt like your parents didn't pay enough attention to you, whatever it was, or even if it's subconscious, even if you don't know, and like all you want to do is just try to get people to pay attention to you. An unhealthy avenue is to try to get attention in any way that you can. And it doesn't make a difference who's paying attention to you, how much time you spend doing it. Whether it's destructive to your other relationships, whether it's destructive to your hobbies or your passions. Like it's like this thing that you want that's driving you, that's getting you there. And then there's the people that like know what they're looking for in their lives, and then by accomplishing it, they're happy and they don't need to get to billionaire status. They don't need to get to Forbes top 10 status or to any of that. They're like, they're just people that have extraordinarily successful careers at what they do and have happy lives with their family and their friends. And they just like live happy lives and die happy people,
and that's the goal. Is like,
yeah, that's the goal.
Pursuing that like extra wealth so you can live comfortable, so you can bless other people in their lives, but not doing it at the sacrifice of like being a workaholic.
Yeah.
Your family not feeling like you're around.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like that's all. I feel like in my military career in the earlier days, I like fully absorbed that identity of like trying to just be a go-getter, climb the ladder, climb the ranks. And like I didn't care if like I had to step on toes, like I was progressing.
Yeah.
And I was doing it fast. And then I look back, I'm like, man, I wish I would have taken a break and focused on some of the relationships, been a better mentor to others around me. And so now that's a big focus of mine. It's just like giving back and like remember to like look back and help others get to where you.
There's got to be really great ways to be able to make a career out of something like that. Like while both being successful in and of yourself and also being inspirational or motivational. For sure, there's got to be.
I think social media, that's like one of the nice things about social media is like
gives you that opportunity.
It's there. Like you can just shoot a video and say what's on your mind. But then it's also like falls back to that like part of me doesn't want to do that because I don't want to have my phone in front of me all the time.
Yeah.
I want like real
genuine exhausting, dude. It's exhausting.
It is.
For sure. Yeah. It's funny that you say that because recently I've been for years I associated my well-being with how productive I was. Right. And so I was trying to always jam more in and how to be more efficient, how to be more productive, how to do this better and spend my time better and, utilize this and that and that. And at a certain point I was like, I'm not even enjoying what I'm doing. Like the things I love writing. I love playing guitar. I love sales. I love talking to customers and getting them to, and making a connection with someone and then having them buy something and be like, I trust you over X, Y, and Z competitor and I'm going to buy something from you. I'm like, that's awesome,
Right.
But I was so focused on like optimizing that I didn't focus on like being present, being a dad. I have a 2.5-year-old and I have a 2-month-old, and I'm so busy running around doing things for them and doing things with them that I was like, but without actually being present in like what I was actually doing. That at a certain point I was like, I'm blacking out my days,
right. So it's like, hey, what did you do today? And you're like, like you can't think about it. Like I have to look at my list because I have to keep a list for everything and check it off. And that's how I am. I'm like, how do I not remember my
Yeah.
whole day
Yeah.
and or the day before? I'm like, because everything for me is like become a list. Like
Yeah.
I have to check it off.
Yeah.
Do you take time to like sit down and reflect and like
Yeah.
deeply reflect?
I started to more. I do well. I started to on a regular basis. I've always done it on like let's say a weekly basis or whatever because I like to write a lot. So when I write, that's a lot of reflective time.
Just like journaling?
Yeah. I'll either write what I call Dear Me letters, which are just like Dear Me, things are pretty good. I'm happy about this, but or I'm not happy about this, but and then a lot of times my fingers will just like go and I'll write things that I've never said or even realized that I was thinking before. And I'm like, oh shit, like
There's a real power to it, and
for
I'm
sure.
learning this as well. Like this has become a new thing for me. But I listened to your last podcast with Chris,
Yeah.
and you guys were talking about the breathing.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's
Breath work, dude.
Yeah, doing breath work.
Have you?
Dude, yeah. And
What do you think,
I don't
dude?
have a lot of people to talk to about this, so I'm glad that.
Wow,
you
dude, I'm
mentioned
going.
it.
I'm going to my first class this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've
dude.
never done it at a class.
Yeah.
But have you heard of like Wim Hof?
No.
Wim Hof
Who
breathing?
is that?
So Wim Hof, he's a guy who he's set all these different world records. He's really big into like going into ice cold, like he's big on the cold plunges,
Sure.
but breathing and like different things. And I can't remember how I came across him. It was a long time ago. And then when I was going through this rut with like work and then being out of the military and trying to find my place, I came into like the breathing exercises.
Yeah.
And so I saw the Wim Hof and I was like, oh, this is crazy. I was doing this previously in a very similar way. And now I have someone who's like teaching it, like showing it. So I did the program and really got into like right now, I would say like I'm in this phase of like learning the profound effects that come.
Isn't it crazy? Wait, so tell me some of your experiences that you had. If any. I don't know if any come to mind, but for sure.
So the Wim Hof specifically is like supposed to like boost your mood, your energy. It's good for like combating like depression, anxiety.
Okay.
And I know that there's different types of breathing. There's like the much faster style.
That's
like
hyperventilating.
Yeah, like holotropic breathing or something. There's all these different ones. So I'm in the process of experimenting with these different breathings and seeing what brings it to me. Wim Hof I really enjoy. Then there's another one. It's called like Breathe with Sandy on YouTube.
Okay.
And this guy, he does a lot of different ones. And when I do some of the breathing, since you're asking about my experience, there's been times where like, and this is when I'm like really deeply breathing and like pushing through that mental block.
Yeah.
And my hands will cramp up. Have
no
you had that?
way.
Have
no.
You had that? They say like, oh, like there's gonna be like some numbing or this and that, and I had to like chat GPT like what this is, why it's happening.
Well, because when your cramps are a consequence of like, not getting oxygen through your body, right?
Yeah, right. So it's like a depletion of like your O2, something like that.
I actually felt that today on a jog. I got back from my jog and my hands felt. I could tell I was not breathing properly on my jog. Yeah. I don't know whether it was the music I was listening to or the podcast that it started with or ended with, but like I got home and I was like, something's wrong. And I was like, I know it has to do with the breathing that I've been doing, because I was definitely, I was definitely oxygen depleted for sure.
Yeah, I can talk about how it's helped me with running as well. And this is probably going to scare people out of wanting to breathe. Talking about this. But probably. Like my hands had actually like cramped up like that, like as if you got like a stinger. Sure.
Sweet. Yeah.
What is this? I haven't had the Southern Bloom.
It's right here. It's a Pilsner. It's great beer. It's from local Three Sun Brewery.
You're going to get me drunk before my event.
We'll get you water before you go.
I'll be the breathing has been phenomenal. So for me, I've tried to incorporate it in my mornings because what I feel like it does is it like raises it brings me to like my highest version of myself, where I think your morning habits can dictate your entire day. Especially if you're someone who's like not in the best place mentally, things aren't going your way. Like you have more reasons to be upset than you do to be happy
or productive.
Yeah. And so, when you're unhappy, you're typically unproductive.
Yeah.
And so addressing that at the root cause, which the breathing, what it does is it gets you to the mindset where like you tune everything else out.
Mhm.
So you can't just tell somebody with a busy mind, especially an entrepreneur, to sit down and meditate.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Your mind's wandering. You're thinking about 100 things
Yeah.
at once. But if you go through this process of breathing and you get to that point where it's like you're just, everything's still
Yeah.
in your mind.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have to think about what it is you're trying to solve. But all of a sudden, answers just start coming.
Yes.
And that's the craziest point. So you want to talk about my experience, the revelations that I've had.
Yes, dude, for sure.
From just sitting in that stillness, and then something I'm not thinking about currently, but maybe
Pops
last
into
week's
Yes.
problem.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
An answer comes to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
Because I still can't explain it. I'm still trying to figure this out now.
So I think I'll tell you what I think and what I've heard. Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud. First of all, with our phones and social media and podcasts and music in your car and screens, we experience nonstop stimulus. And I don't think our brains are meant to be responding to high intensity stimulants all the time. And that's our lives.
Agreed.
Right? And so when you're breathing or when you're stopping, I think that our brains have developed in a sense to require some downtime and to require some time without stimulants, so you could like kind of rest and ponder and figure out your own thoughts and your own experiences, your own problems, and like it's like if you're jogging, no matter how good of a jogger you are, it's not going to be the same thing, and no matter, it's not going to be something that's laying on a couch. Like no matter how, like let's say you're a marathon sprinter and you're going for a 4 mile run, right? It's not hard for you. It's not hard for you. You're not like working too hard, but it's not the same thing as being still and hanging out in bed. And so I think that like I think that the breathing is the equivalent of giving our brain an opportunity to rest and process all the things that we haven't had a chance to process because we're surrounding ourselves with so many stimulants. Like I decided the other day, like I realized I'm listening to way too many podcasts, spending way too much time on Twitter, and I'm like, I just feel like my brain isn't even my brain. I feel like I'm just like a sponge for outside information. I don't have my own way of thinking right now.
Right.
And I
sometimes
push
I have
back.
to like delete the apps.
Yeah.
Just to like give myself a day or two of just like break, because our phones are very good at just sending us a notification like, hey, you've been gone too long. You up? Like
yeah. What are you up to? Come hang out here for 20 minutes or half an hour.
And then you end up scrolling for much longer, and it's like, that's the real.
So I've been much more conscious to like in the last like week even just to like have quiet time without something playing in the background, or to have time to read, or time to just like sit and write, or time to just go for a walk without anything, even jumping down the block, like just like a couple of, just like 5-10 minutes, and like you feel like you're getting your own, like you're getting autonomy back, you're getting your own perspective back, your own thoughts, your own like whatever.
Yeah, it gives you time to process. It's a very powerful thing.
So what other realizations have you had with deep breathing?
Let's see.
Different breathing.
I had one the other day that I don't want to talk about it because I'm waiting to see if it plays out.
Okay.
And if it does, I will mention
awesome.
it.
Sure.
That will be like my testimony for like how effective it really is.
Sweet.
Because it was just like one of those things that popped in my head, and it felt like it was the extension of the plan that I had in place, and the next steps just like, came into mind.
Sweet.
And even since then, a couple things have like popped up that have like gone along with that. I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And I'm somebody who I'm spiritual, so I believe that I don't know. It's tough for me to say because I'm.
What do you think?
Figure all this stuff out.
I want to hear.
I think it opens you up to like a new, like just a higher frequency of yourself. Like
was spirituality new to you, or you've always been spiritual?
You've
always been open.
I was religious.
Oh, you were religious.
I was religious since high school, and as a Christian, I was going to church. When I got into the military, had a couple experiences, and a really close friend of mine who I'm still in touch with has kind of drawn me closer to my faith in God.
Nice.
And however, once I got out of the military, and this was maybe 8, 9 months ago, I started kind of deconstructing my faith, my religion.
As in, like, examining it?
Examining it a lot further, asking more questions, not taking scripture like it's like definitive, like it's like the only. And as soon as I started questioning things is when I started feeling like I was coming across more things that like really just kind of like threw me in a pit of despair. And it was like for me it was
like, how do you know all this is bullshit kind of thing?
Yeah, and I'm someone who I take everything with a grain of salt. I'm not just like, oh, I see this, I believe this, I see this, I believe this. Like I was firm in my faith, and I think that that's what threw me off so much is that now I'm confused in my faith.
Yeah.
And now I'm questioning things.
Yeah.
And so I still believe in God, and the reason why is because I feel like I really had connections and things that I would give credit to God for. Yeah. So I know that was real.
It's because of your experience. Yeah.
I know it was real.
Yeah.
However, I just don't know if the stories that I was taught are all the certain fact.
Yeah, dude.
And so that's where I'm.
Yeah, dude.
That's where I'm.
That's an interesting. That's a crazy, by the way. So it's funny you say that because I've had in my life, my religious perspective or perspective shattered, like completely shattered, probably 5 or 6 times.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was learning about Judaism through you on the last podcast, and it's so new to me.
Yeah.
Being here in Florida, I was never really. There was one, I think, Jewish girl in my school, or at least that's what all I knew about it. So I wasn't ever around it. Yeah. And then to find out there's a big population here in South Florida.
Huge.
And especially when I sold the house down the street. It was only like Jewish families coming in.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was learning about the holidays and the different things. And as a Christian, a lot of this stuff that like anything that doesn't fit into the boundaries is like, that's like devil worship, idol worship. Like it doesn't make sense. Like it's all. And so I lived a lot of my life feeling like
anyone that's outside of it is wrong.
Right, sure. Exactly. Like like it's this or that.
It's tribal.
Yeah, exactly. It's very tribal.
Yeah.
And I think religion and what people like is certainty.
Yes.
And community.
Yes.
And I think they're two things that all religions provide. And so it's really just who you fit with. And so for me, it was like I no longer wanted to consider myself one single thing and have certainty through that. And so I was more like, okay, let me just start reading into these other religions.
Nice.
And not that I'm like giving too much focus into it, but I want to know. I want to know what Judaism believes. Yeah, sure. I want to know what the Muslims believe. I want to know what like Buddhists believe. I want to know why they believe that and where did it begin.
Yeah.
And I have a whole notes page on the deconstruction of my religion.
Nice,
like
dude.
Videos and blogs and things I was reading, and I was keeping track of it. Of
it's good. It's healthy.
What led me to my decision where I'm at now.
So I think that questions are the best thing that you can do.
Yeah. And even my buddy who got me into Christianity told me, like, God doesn't want us to be surface level believers.
Sure.
We should question and we should like be firm in our faith because so why I started deconstructing was because I wanted to be able to answer what other people would question us on.
Yeah.
And when I started looking into that I started I started kind of wavering in my own like hey, how can I be so certain? I have to believe what I was taught if I want to be certain. And it's just not
you can't be. I don't think you could be. I mean, maybe you could be, and I don't know about it. But my own experience, my understanding, it's interesting because you have the Bible, you have let's say the 5 books of Moses, which Jews consider the Torah. That's considered like that's where and then you have a couple of collections of other things like Psalms and stuff like that. But primarily the 5 books of Moses, right, and then the Talmud, and shit, I forgot where I was going with this. I totally forgot. I lost my train of thought. But one of the things that, and it's funny because you have commentators from 1,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago. They'll say, this is not a history book. This is not a textbook. This is truth. I don't know what that means. How can something be true and not like a history book, you know? And
There's
like,
another religion saying it's not true.
yeah, yeah,
And so now
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You know, like I, I don't even know what that means. Like, so does truth mean that the ideals are true? Does truth mean that the values are true? Does truth mean that like, it's not a history book, so it doesn't mean that every sentence literally happened?
Mm-hmm.
Does it? I mean, I don't know. You know, and so
Trying to figure
and
out.
then you ask these questions, and first of all, people initially immediately get upset when they hear these questions, right? Because
Right.
what you're doing is you're questioning the premise of which they've spent their entire life, or a lot of their life, you know, perceiving as the truth. And if that's wrong, what else is wrong? What else isn't true? Or what else are you not right about? And it's too threatening for a lot of people.
A lot of people don't want to ask that question. They
Dude,
would rather just believe and accept it for what it is.
yeah.
But
I never thought about the other side of the Israel Gaza conflict in my life until about a year ago, a year and a half ago. I never thought about it in my life, you know, and I spent years in Israel, you know, collectively over the course of my life, you know, and I never knew there was more than one side.
and what do you mean by that? Like outside of like Israeli side?
Yeah, outside of the Israeli perspective. Like I grew up with the perspective that Arabs just want to kill Jews and that no one wants anyone to be there and Israel's the only democracy in the Middle East, which I guess they are, but like that doesn't necessarily mean that like everyone's enemy necessarily, you know, and how about this? You know, like I know that Hamas is bad. I don't know Palestinians that are 17 years old and you know were born after Hamas was elected in one time 20 years ago that they're necessarily bad people. They deserve to suffer.
Yeah.
And I just say these things to, let's say, my family, and or I say this to my friends. They lose their shit. They lose their shit. You know, like how tribal can how tribal can you be? That like the notion that someone might be innocent and that's a terrible thing that they're getting killed is like a bad thing. Like how can you even like and you know and how can you even like argue with that? You know, and so
Yeah, I feel like being in the military is very similar to what you're feeling with that tribalism. I mean, you're in the military, you're supporting the USA,
yeah,
and anybody that they're against, you're also
yeah,
against. And then you start kind of questioning like who's being the bully here,
yeah,
or you know, the guy who's in China or Russia, you know, they might have been forced in the military,
sure,
and that person and we might have very similar commonalities,
yeah,
and they have a family as well.
yeah,
And so it's not just another face who you're gonna take off the face of this planet. Like
mm-hmm.
it's like there's if we weren't at war and I traveled and we met somewhere and and we spoke the same language, there's a good chance we could become friends.
For sure.
But because my government is saying that like you're bad and that you're all this and that, they try to lead you to believe that and push that, and then you end up feeling that same hatred towards them.
Totally.
I see it in the same day. Like I mean, there's people who are with this whole Israeli and Gaza thing. Like they're pushing both sides, and it's like the media is going to spin it however they want to attract whoever they want for their story.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's very tough to try and decipher and find your own way in this world.
Yeah.
And I think that going through my decoupling with my faith led me to become more of my own self.
Yeah.
Because I was someone who was so conditioned to kind of just go through life through the guardrails and boundaries that everybody around me has put on. Like they say, you're the 5 people you hang out with, 10 people you hang out with, whatever. And I really believe that's true because if you're not someone who stands firm in your own values and beliefs and knows where you want to go, you're going to fall for anything. Mm-hmm. You're going to follow the crowd. You're going to do what you feel like society wants you to do. And I think I lived so long in my life like that before I started realizing like I need to know who I am. And that's why I asked you if you reflect.
Yeah, I do.
Deeply reflect, because I never did.
Yeah.
Until I started going through this like phase. Yeah. And now I take a lot of time to do breathing, to do reflecting, to try and be more intentional about life.
Yeah.
To try and pick out those wins and learning lessons throughout my life. And there's you dig up a lot of ugly things.
Oh, sure. It sucks. It hurts.
It hurts.
It's really, 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 really unpleasant, especially because you have that own initial instinct to doubt it.
Right.
You know, like no, that can't be true. Like, but can like you get like tiny voice like, can it not be true? And like maybe it is true. And it's like, no, you can't be right. Like, maybe it is right. And like all of a sudden, like you don't even know.
It's exhausting.
Yeah,
Right. Sit there and
it's not fun. That's why a lot of people don't do it
right.
because it's hard. Because it's really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't encourage writing enough. Writing helps so much. Just write, dear me, date it if you want. I don't even look at them. Like, I don't even look back on them. Sometimes, like, I just recently, a couple months ago, I looked back at some of the writing I did in, like, 2019, 2020.
You've been doing it for some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even recognize who I was.
That's the crazy
I
thing.
even know where, I don't even know where, I can't even get my head to understand how I was writing, what I was writing, what I was going through.
And that's why it's so important to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know, have you ever read Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey?
No, Matthew McConaughey wrote a book.
Matthew McConaughey wrote a book, and my fiance is the one who told me to read it.
Is it good?
It's so good. It's literally just like he journaled for years and years and years, and a lot of those he put in his book. He posted like the photocopy of his journal.
Nice.
And his stories throughout, and he's talking about how you look back and you see those green lights throughout your life. Like you realize where those green lights were.
Awesome.
And I was talking about this the other day with a friend, and I just started journaling. I started doing the breathing and meditating, reflecting, and journaling. And I was realizing that I was really only journaling on the bad days. Like when I'm like
that makes sense,
down and I just want something to get off my mind, I go and I journal it, how I'm feeling and what's going on.
That's human, by the way.
It is. But I was also I would journal a couple days on the good days, and I realized I normally don't go back and read them. But if I did, those encouraging days really re-encouraged me because I was reading those through my own voice, seeing the hope that was in me.
Nice.
It's like if you could tell your younger self a lesson. You could just go back and like talk to them. You hear from yourself, whether it's a week ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, I did do what I wanted to do back then. Yeah, or like I had hope and like things like that. But if you're only writing down the bad days, it's not always gonna give you that encouragement that you're looking for. But it always gives you peace of mind, I think, when you're done just
getting that. Of course.
On paper, and it makes you feel better.
You're venting.
And
by the way, that's why a lot of people, it's funny, I don't know if this is the case. I don't know if as many people would necessarily need therapy if they had a close collection of friends or an ability to express what's going on in their head to themselves, and they had those like skills. I think that just having like a couple of close friends that you can have like a very real and open and honest conversation with, or probably not or, and the ability to like write to yourself or journal, express yourself. A lot of times, a therapist is just a sounding board. Like they're just someone that you can talk to, and there's no other person on the planet that you can tell. You can't tell your mom, you can't tell your dad, you can't tell your siblings, you can't tell your friends. It's embarrassing. You don't have anyone to talk to, so you sit across from someone and you just spill.
And you're just releasing that negative energy.
Yeah, you're just releasing it,
and that alone makes you feel better.
Yeah,
which is something I never knew.
Yeah,
the military allowed me or encouraged me to suppress my emotions.
Sure.
And so coming out of high school, and we talked about this, I was like more introvert. Mm-hmm. I never learned to express my emotions. I never learned to fully express myself. Mm-hmm. And being in the military kind of sometimes naturally would allow me to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was a big part of like why I felt the way I was in the recent history, but it's because I wasn't fully expressing myself. And it wasn't until I started reflecting and journaling that I realized like the things I enjoy doing I haven't pieced them into my life. I've been so focused on work. Yeah. That when things spill out like over like and I'm like argumentative or whatever, it's really just because I haven't taken time to like release that, like, let it go, and just, talk to somebody about it. Like, dude,
I'm so impressed. It's awesome. It's such a great place to be, and it's such a hard place to get to. Yeah. And once you're like this far in, once you've tasted it, you can't go without it, like once you realize that like this is like a necessary part of being a healthy person, it's like it's very hard to go back to not being like that. It's very hard to go back to it's like you don't feel good being unintentional. You don't feel good just letting the days pass by and like not being aware of yourself. Like
Right.
once you know that like it's so good for you and so healthy and like productive, you don't want to not be like that. It's like the fact that you're here, the odds of you going back here are pretty low, I imagine, as opposed to the odds of you going here are way higher.
Right.
Or like you're only building now. It's just a foundation.
Yeah, and I think through that reflecting, it's kind of given me the time and space to decide on what my path forward what it's gonna look like, and it's gonna be based off of who I am, what I value, no longer what I feel like society wants me as, or the
Nice,
best
dude.
choice
So what do you
based
think
on
now?
this
So
or
what's so
that.
so so what are some passions that you think that are popping up now in your head?
We'll have to do that on part 3.
Yeah.
Whenever I find out, because I'm really I'm fully immersed in this phase of like, okay, my job is what's paying the bills and getting me by. I like it, and I'm good at it, but it doesn't fulfill me.
Yeah.
And I think too many people are willing to just allow that to be their life. Like,
Yeah.
it pays the bills, it doesn't fulfill me, I'm unhappy, and blah blah. But what if in that same time you had a plan to get out of that phase?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what if you could start doing something on the side,
Yeah.
little by little,
Yeah.
like finding the hobbies that you'd like, so that your life isn't every day you're waking up and it's unenjoyable,
Yeah.
or you're just getting through. Because I think that's why, most of our days we don't enjoy, we don't want to go to work, we don't want to do what we want to do, and then we stay in front of our phones, TV, entertainment, all the
We're consumers, not creators.
and then you wake up in 10 years and you're like, I'm 30 or I'm 50. Like, what happened? Like, and it's getting faster and faster the more we involve technology. And so, who knows? I think a passion of mine is just spreading this knowledge. Like,
Yeah,
it's
fun.
It's so new to me, but it's been so impactful to me.
Yeah.
That I want more people to know about it. And I want.
We'll do as many podcasts as you want, dude. Anytime you want, yeah. Just we'll keep on rolling them.
Yeah,
they're fun.
I'll be honest. One of the things that has been life changing, night and day for me, has been Toastmasters. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard the name actually.
It's not a breakfast club,
yeah.
I promise, but it's a speaking club.
Okay.
And it's a big reason why I'm even willing to do this podcast with you, because being an introvert, not being confident in my voice, all of that took a change for the best once I joined Toastmasters.
Okay.
And so my experience with Toastmasters, it's 2019, I'm in Korea, and I'm in the military, and there's a newcomer's briefing. So when I first got there, I had to sit in this auditorium and hear from these different speakers talking about their jobs and how it affects us for the 1 year time we're in Korea. You can't drink off base. You have to do, there's all these rules, and they want you.
Is that a rule? You can't drink off base?
Well, you can't have an open container.
Okay.
And they tell you, like, the medical team will be like, 3 drinks per hour, this or that. They try and tell you how you should drink to not be like.
Yeah, I gotcha.
That, yeah. So the tables later in my time there, I was now one of the people who had to come present for my job.
Nice.
And I never public speak.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a thing for me. So, and I was super nervous about it. Like, when it would come up, hey, who's going to go do the newcomers brief for us this week?
Can you describe the anxiety you felt?
Dude.
Do you feel in your chest? Do you feel in the back? I feel at the bottom of my throat sometimes. Like
my hands are sweaty, my back is sweaty. I'm like, my heart is.
You feel palpitations.
Thumping.
Gotcha.
My heart is thumping, and I'm just like reciting what I'm gonna say. So here's how it went down. I got told I dodged it too many times, and now I have to step up and do the briefing. It's me and one other guy, and we have a slideshow for what we have to go present on. And it's probably about 100, 150 people in this auditorium. And I'm sitting there. I know I'm up next, and so my heart's pumping more,
anticipation,
more and more.
Kills you.
And I'm running. I don't need to know everything because I have slides.
Right.
But I need to be able to introduce myself. Right. So I go up there. I'm Staff Sergeant Lauer. Right. And the guy beside me, I say, "Good morning, everybody. I'm Staff Sergeant Lyons, and this is Staff Sergeant Lauer." And then, I'm Staff Sergeant Lauer. This is Staff Sergeant Lyons. Instead of just letting it go, because no one would know, I corrected it, and
Uh-huh.
I immediately blacked out, turned my back to the crowd because I realized how bad I just messed up, and I'm like profusely sweating down my back just reading slides, and like,
Dude,
it was
I totally
terrible.
understand where you're coming from,
I
dude.
couldn't wait to get out of there. I was so embarrassed.
Getting your name wrong is the worst thing. It happens, dude.
I had like three things to say, and I screwed it up. I couldn't even get my name right.
Dude, so I used to, so my name, I'm a Ephraim, and I sometimes go by Effie, and and I'm not at all like like my family Hirschmans are notorious for folding under pressure. We're bad pressure people. We're great when there's no pressure. We're terrible under pressure. And I would introduce myself to new people in high school, and I was going back and forth between Ephraim and Effie. I'd be like, "Nice to meet you." I'm like, I wouldn't even like say anything. I was like, "Oh, fuck! Can you get my name right, dude? I sound like an idiot."
So we're in the same boat then.
Yeah, dude.
So after that experience, I had a buddy come up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to join Toastmasters with me?" I'm like, "Toastmasters? No, I'm not joining a breakfast club. What is it?" And he's like, "It's a public speaking crew." And I said, Dude, don't ever bring up public speaking to me again. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm never doing it again." I had such a bad experience. And this is 2019. I moved here in 2022. And so about a year ago, it felt like one of those things that just like oddly like popped into my mind was like Toastmasters. And I know that it's a global thing. You could skip a stone and hit a club around you because they're all around, and it's very low, cheap membership. And I reached out to two clubs. One got back to me, and I was like, "This is through a series of things. I was like, this is like a calling. Like I need to go check it out. I need to
That's cool.
set aside my worries and go check it out." And from the first day, they made me get up and speak, and it was just like, "How do you like the club? Tell us a little bit about yourself." Like they were encouraging me, and I was like, this is what I came for, to like work out this anxiety and this fear in front of a crowd and fear of like
Did
my
you learn skills that you could like what are some tangible skills that you could pass along, you think?
Using your body language speaks more than 50% of your message.
Yes.
Never knew it. Never knew it. Your tonality, emphasizing, learning. I'm a fast talker naturally because I feel like no one's listening to me. So if I'm not confident,
huge.
If I'm not confident in my voice, I don't think anyone else is listening, or I'm afraid I'm going to cut off. So I speed through everything really quick. Learning to take it slower.
Yeah.
Use a little bit of pause.
Yeah.
Use my body gestures, pacing, and then also how to frame what you're going to say with like
a setup.
Setting it up, having your introduction, your like meat and potatoes of it, and having a conclusion. Every message should have a message to it.
Yeah.
It should have a meaning to it.
Yeah.
So even for somebody who's already confident in their voice and is like, "Oh, I could go speak on a stage, no worries, not scared at all," they'll go up and they'll babble. They'll just say a bunch of things, and there's not much context or like much behind it. And I think that even those people can really benefit going through something like this. So for me, I've just become more comfortable. Like I've become more comfortable in my own skin and my own voice. I feel much better, and I've learned so many different techniques along the way. And it's only been a year.
Yeah.
And I learned
you're gonna be great at this, man. Dude, I'm excited to see where you're gonna head with this, because what you're doing, at least from the outside looking in, I don't know what the inside looks like, right? From the outside looking in, the things that you're doing for yourself, for your development, which is questioning your premises that you were raised on. I think it's important. Not even to deviate from them, just to question them, just to be like, where does this come from? How do I know about it? And then, yeah, exactly. So, for example, right, like I'm religious, and I've always asked. I've actually, it's not true. I've never thought to ask a question until one of my friends asked me, like, "Why do you do what you do?" I was in Israel for the year. I was taking a year between high school and college, and I had a friend who's like, "Why do you do Judaism?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, I got defensive before I even realized the answer is I don't know. And then I was like, because my parents taught me that it's the right thing to do, and like it has to be right, like, and he's like, so because your parents say it's right, that makes it right. If your parents tell you to jump off a roof, it's the right thing to do. If your parents tell you to, do whatever, like, so I was like, oh shit. I was like, why do I do what I do?
Yeah.
And that was like the beginning. Um, but I was always looking to understand. I wasn't look so there. I think there are people that their instinct is to look for reasons to not do things, and then there's instincts to understand why you do what you do.
Right.
And those are two fundamentally different things, right? Like my dad asked me to do something I don't deal like want to deal with, like a chore around the house. Go to the DMV and get my car re-registered, or go take my car for an inspection, right? I will think of reasons. I'll break down analytically reasons to not go. Oh, I don't have time. I got my kids. I got blah blah blah. I can't do this now. I got work to do. Those are reasons to not do something. And then or you can have my dad asked me to do this and try to understand what he's saying. He's saying is, I'm paying your bills. I'm going to work to put food on the table. I don't have the time at the moment to do this, and I've spent 30 years raising you. Would you mind taking 20 minutes of your time to please go ahead and make my life a little easier if you don't mind after all this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, I'm happy to do that.
Right.
That sounds awesome. It's a good. It's understanding why you're doing something as opposed to reasons to avoid them. So
Right.
I think so there are times when people will say, "Oh, I started questioning things and wondering things." A lot of times it's about looking to throw off that responsibility or to like avoid that burden. But the people that like you'll meet a lot of people that will question things and they seem to come out better and stronger and more ferociously deep and like real and authentic. And you're like, how'd you even get there? And you're like, because I questioned everything, but like I want to understand why I do what I do or how to go about it.
Yeah.
And some things may change, but a lot will probably be the same.
Right. I was on fire for Christianity. Like I was going to church, I was going to like Christian business men's groups, everything I was trying to involve myself with because I know that each time I moved from base to base in the military, I was able to select a new group of friends I was around. Cool. I was able to I always believed who you're around is like a big influence in your life. And so as I went through seasons, I would try and bring around people that I knew were good influences. And being here, I was all in on my faith, and I really wanted to absorb myself with that. And it was when I started questioning that I was like, you almost feel guilty for questioning
Yeah, you
it.
do.
And like you're
Dude, religious guilt is the most common form of guilt in the history of the universe, dude.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
How do you grapple with guilt?
I'm learning a lot about just like self-forgiveness and not trying to like you can't change the past. I saw something recently that was like so simple but so profound and impactful. It was like a little chart that shows like okay, like yes or no, and it goes to the next things. It's like, is this something you can change? Yes. Okay. Make the change. Figure it out. Like do something about it.
Don't sweat it.
No. Well, then don't let it bother you and bog you down. Like it's so simple, but it's so hard to follow in most cases because we want to just ponder and let things consume us.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like if you can't do anything about it, what's worth letting it just ruin your day and like.
I'm pretty good about that. It took me years.
Bounce off.
Things that I know that I can control, even if they bother me, right? Like, I don't even want to. If there are
it's
things
learning how to manage your emotions too. Like it's a big part of that, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what. So, the example, the metaphor that I've always heard of is that like the forest and the tree metaphor. You ever heard that? That if you're looking at if you're looking at a forest, you can't focus on the specific trees. You see the beauty of the big picture. But when you're zooming into a particular tree, you can't see the whole forest.
Okay.
Right? And there are points in life where you have to focus on the tree, and there are points in life you have to focus on the forest.
Mm-hmm.
There are points in life where like you're like, this particular moment sucks, but I have a forest of my life that is amazing. And so I'm going to take a step back and bask in the whole picture. Or this is a particular moment that's particularly important and beautiful, and I want to zoom in on this experience. Like the day I got married. Everyone says their weddings are like blackout events, and not just because of drinking, because like everything happens so fast, it's such a rush, and I got married relatively late compared to the rest of my world, my friends. The Orthodox Jewish world, people, guys you typically end up being married by 22 to 25.
Wow.
And I got married at 26, right? So I was like towards the later peak of my friends, and I was like, and I didn't care when I got engaged. I was like, I didn't care about anything. I could get married in my backyard with a couple of hot dogs and hamburgers. I could get married in a hall. I don't care. You know, like I'm excited to spend my life with my wife.
Yeah.
And I was like, my wedding day, I just want to be present. I just want that to be the tree. I just want to be able to like have this tree where I like look at my wedding day as like a day that I was extra present.
Yeah, you want to be able to relive it in your mind over and over again
Yeah.
without it feeling like just a
Like
memory.
a blackout.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
know, like a rush, like just like a blank rush of like everything. And then you have moments, and I actually said this to I said this to my wife when we first got married too. I was like, our life is gonna like we're gonna have like these moments that are not fun or pleasant. Like we're gonna fight. We're gonna have like hard weeks, months, or even years over the next until one of us are dead, right? Or God forbid something else, you know. But I was like, you have to remember that these are only like sentences in a paragraph, in a chapter, in a book.
Yeah.
That's our
In a
relationship.
series of
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
That's our life. That's our relationship. And I was like, and so we have to, and you know, we bicker, you know, but like we don't get into like these huge fights where we don't talk for days on end or anything like that because both of us like are good about saying this is a sentence in a paragraph in a chapter, you know, and like everything will fall into its place and we'll work it out and we'll make it happen. But like, and right now it's not easy. Right now, this sentence is a particularly unpleasant sentence to speak or swallow or deal with. But at the end of the day, it's part of the story, and like the overall story is amazing, you know. And so that was really awesome.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'd say that intentionality in your relationship is very important because it's important to be the relationship together and also your individuals. Like you guys have your own hobbies and interests, and I think as you grow through life, you go through different seasons, you have different interests. Which, if you're not intentional, then those interests will make you grow apart, and that's why we have such a high divorce rate. But if you're intentional to realize, like, hey, like you change in this way, I change in this way, but we have grounded values
Yes.
and things like that's why values are so important.
Wow, I'm so happy that you're saying that, dude.
Because people change. I'm not the same person I was in the beginning of my relationship with my fiance. She's not the same person she was, but I still love her, and I love watching her grow. And you have to love the person that you met and the person that you know they're becoming.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it's important because you know that people are going to change.
Yeah.
We all do, but it's having that communication and that intentionality that helps you kind of change together and ride the wave of life together.
And I think also having the same shared sense of goals, because like for example, if your goal, you know, different people have different goals. Some people do outreach. Some people are goals to raise a happy family, you know, raise kids. And like when their marriage is hard and their relationship is not great and whatever, you know, we're going through a rough patch, what's going to keep you under the same roof? What's going to keep you guys together? It's going to be your shared goals. You're going to be like, listen, at the moment, it's hard with you. It's hard, you know, but you and I both are invested enormously in the same thing. So like, what do we do to make this work? Because both of us want the same outcome. Like, I think that you have to have. I think that having a mutual goal keeps people honest. Like in business, right? If you have a business and the mutual goal is for both of you guys to support your families, then both of you guys are gonna hustle the same amount. You know, if one guy has 3 kids or 5 kids and one kid is single and has a dog, the amount that one guy's gonna work is very different than the amount the other guy's gonna work. And resentfulness is probably gonna build up at a certain point. And like, you know, but like if they both have the same kind of listen, our goal is to reach X amount, you know, to reach people to make the world a better place, then it doesn't make a difference how much money you have or not. Like you feel like you're accomplishing your particular goal that you're trying to accomplish. And if your goal with your spouse is to raise families, to make the world better, is to both, you know, travel, you know, whatever it is, you know, like there has to be something above just like how I feel about you right now.
Right, right. That's why I think too many people, the divorce rate is high because we have too many people.
It's like 60%. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's probably up to 60% now. Too many people, they're not willing to have those hard conversations. They're willing to base solely off the feeling in the moment.
Or relationships die.
Good.
Or they die. Or you stop investing in it.
You stop investing in it. I think that's a huge thing.
That's hard.
And I'm somebody who's very like self-discovery, self-improvement, always like looking on ways I can change myself. And sometimes I think maybe I bring that too much into my relationship on like ways that we could do better. But it is important to reflect and say, hey, like just to check in, like, hey, how are we doing? Like, what could I do better? Because maybe I'm doing something else. I'm minding my own business, whatever, and maybe I'm not picking up on that. Like you're unhappy or in your own way or whatever. And so it's good to have those conversations.
Those check-ins. Yeah. And they call it. My wife describes it as dating through marriage. Like you're continuing to date. Like when you're dating someone, like you're on your third date or fifth date or 10th date. You're like, so what do you think? How do you feel about this? Or how you feeling today? Like. You stop asking those questions eventually, and you're like, you shouldn't. Like you have to put effort into continuing to do that, but it's not natural,
I know, because you get so comfortable.
Yes, you take it for granted. It's complacent, and it's yeah. And also, you start to take. I think the other thing is when you take a relationship for granted, you invest more in the relationships that aren't for granted, right? So, like, why do we treat siblings so much worse than we treat our friends? Yeah. Or why do we treat our teachers better than we treat it with more respect than our parents? It's because these are relationships that like that if you don't invest in it, it'll fall apart. With a parent or with a sibling or with a spouse that you're married for 30 years, they're not going anywhere. You know that nothing's happening. You guys are all blood. You guys are all family. You guys are all whatever. So like, okay, like I have X amount of effort. I want to invest that effort in a relationship that I'm not sure will pan out. But you can lose those relationships. You can lose those, relationship with your siblings or with your parents or with your spouse, God forbid, and like, you don't want that.
Complacent, for sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
I totally did not imagine this conversation was going to go this way, but I love it, dude. This is fun.
We've hit a variety of topics now.
Dude,
good. Last time was like so much about like my career. This was like really in depth on just like life. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of those things I was talking about that like I was just I wasn't having this connection with a lot of people. So I appreciate just being here and being able to like...
That's the point of this, man. That's the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast is for like legitimate, real thoughts and conversation and to encourage people to have them themselves. Like that's like the goal. The goal is to like... so it started actually, I had a friend of mine, David Izzo is his name. And I spent the gap year with him and we were friends. Kind of lost touch, kind of got back in touch every now and then. The beginning of COVID in 2019, I was living in Seattle, and he actually I wanted to ask you about California after, but and he texted, and I saw that he posted that he started a podcast called "Don't Worry About It," and it was a mental health podcast. And he started with, like everyone does, with a group of his friends that he started recording episodes with, and I knew all these guys, and I did not know any of the stuff they were talking about. They were talking about their insecurities, they're talking about their anxieties, they're talking about, the challenges they're having with, and I've been with these guys throughout these phases in their lives, and I didn't even know that they were going through this. I just thought they were these like one-dimensional, whatever, douchebags, or whatever it was, and I was like, whoa, there's so much more to so many people, and I had no idea. But it also gives you permission to acknowledge that, like, life is hard, and like, it's okay that life is hard and like it's hard to make your way through. And like the more that you know that other people are going through that as well, the more you could forgive yourself.
You forgive
for
yourself.
Understanding that
it's encouraging to say, okay, I'm not the only one in this shit show going on, and maybe I can dig my way out, or at least keep working day by day. Because I'm not the only one. Definitely. I think there's a lot of men, especially, who are just not willing to open up and be vulnerable. Me being one of them for many years, it was like a badge of honor to suppress my emotions because I thought it would make me better at my job. If I had to get to that point of like being in war, and like I knew that the less emotion I had, the easier it would be for me to get through. Because they say, you don't learn to get through hardship without going through hard shit.
Yeah.
And so I was all in on, let's get through the hard shit. Let's put hard shit in our life so I can just be this invincible person. So when I got out of the military, I thought I was bulletproof. I thought there's no like nothing.
You think a lot of vets are like that?
Uh, I think, like I said, I think every vet will go through this silent battle with themselves. And I think it depends on the level of like identity you took in the military. Like for me, it was everything, and it gave me so much, and I had so much pride in it. And so, trying to build a life without having that as part of it became difficult. Like if I don't see myself as the same as like a realtor, for example. A lot of these people are chasing commission checks. They're materialistic. They're money hungry. They're all about selling people and buying nice things, and that's none of me. I don't want that life. I was for my first 2 years, I was just burning off of motivation and like I'm willing to hustle. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for growth. Like I can get through anything and hurdle. And then you're like, I'm unfulfilled. And this is like, I think veterans and a lot of people who bottle things up.
Yeah.
Your biggest war is from within.
Yeah.
You're gonna tear yourself apart.
You have to listen to Springsteen, man. Do you ever listen to Springsteen?
I like what song specifically?
No, so
my problem is that you can put it on and okay, maybe I know that song, but I'm terrible with knowing lyrics and names.
Okay, I'll send you. Springsteen has an album called "Darkness on the Edge of Town."
Okay.
And it was the next. So he had two albums that were not very successful, even though he's a great musician. Then he had "Born to Run," which everyone knows. "Born to Run" was like an American like album, awesome song.
I definitely know.
Maybe we were born to run.
And there's like American.
And then there's also "Born in the USA." Is also the other one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one.
And that was actually about the Vietnam War, about how crappy the Vietnam War was.
Yeah.
And his experience was, or his writing experience and his music was primarily based on the community he grew up in, which was a very blue collar, poor, downtrodden part of Central Jersey. And "Darkness on the Edge of Town" is an album with the lyrics and the music are people going through the heartbreak of like day-to-day life where their dreams are just evaporating in front of their eyes and just floating off into the air and they just have no hope left and it's just gone. And a combination of that and songs of like, I don't give a shit how hard today is, I'm gonna make it happen, and like the ups and downs that people experience. And the album's a combination of the two of them,
I'm listening to it on my way home.
Dude,
I'm putting it on all my way home.
It is so deep and so powerful, and
I love that, and I love the deep conversations like what you and Chris were talking about, like so many things. I'm not good at the the surface level conversations, the small talk. I've gotten better at it, but I love these deep conversations where like you truly learn something or like, feel a different way.
Most people like it. I can't imagine people don't like it. I think people don't know how to get there.
I think people don't know how to get there, or they're not willing to like bring up those those
and also because it's hard, and also in order to be deep you got to do work, and doing the work is hard.
It's also hard, I think, or at least this is what I'm going through now, where I'm like trying to figure out like the way to approach it, because now that I feel like what we were talking about, like with the meditation and these types of things that can kind of reground people and give them new perspective.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people don't want it. Like they're not open to doing that kind of work.
They're afraid of it, dude. I am too. The reason I didn't do a breathwork class yet is because I'm afraid. I don't know what I'm about to experience. Like I know when I smoke a J what I'm about to experience.
That's fine.
I know when I'm having doing a podcast like this and having a deep conversation. I know what I'm getting myself into. Like I've done this before. It's familiar. It's okay. A lot of people, if they haven't done it before,
that's the excitement of life, is doing the things you've never done before.
Well, you got to teach people that, dude. You got to teach. We have to learn how to be. Americans were like, America is the premise of it is risk. America is risk takers. It's people that are just like willing to go out there and just.
Because we're born on a land of immigrants who took risks to come here. Generations took risks to be here, to make something.
Dude, the westward expansion is fucking crazy.
It's in our blood.
Dude.
But that's what like upsets me, is to see so many people living day to day.
Yes, the American spirit, I feel like is being suffocated. It's being suffocated. There's a blanket of what I think personally is technology I was saying this with Chris also yesterday. I feel like we've created these little bubbles around ourselves, especially when we're in public.
Mhm.
Like these tiny little bubbles of like a couple of feet that people just are. It's not socially acceptable to like invade that bubble.
Yeah.
You can't say hi. It can't be with sound. It can't be with looks. It can't be with jet. Someone could be standing next to you for half an hour and you will not make eye contact one time in the supermarket or the DMV.
Right.
You won't say, "What's up? How you doing? How's your day going? What are you doing here? You know, what are you shopping for?"
And Florida's even worse.
You think so?
Oh yeah, dude. You go to my fiance and I will travel to like somewhere where it's like west or like more country
Yeah.
and
Oh,
people
country,
smile and
country,
say
yeah.
hi. Like they say hi, how are you? And like when I moved to Florida, I was trying to be intentional about being more social, more outgoing. So when I would go out on a run, I would wave.
I do that too,
smile
dude.
at
Yeah.
somebody, and I was like, do people think I'm gonna kill them? Like I would smile at someone,
No.
and they would like look down to the side, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I wish I would have just looked off to the
We're
side because
afraid of
now
we're
I'm like,
afraid of other people.
yeah,
We're really afraid of other people. It really it actually stresses me out now because like, and I go out of my way now. Like, man, I was by 7, right by the Hard Rock. I was going to West Hollywood, so I was going to make I was going down 7 and by that big intersection before you cross to the Hard Rock Cafe, and sorry, not cafe, to the parking lot. Um, and there's a woman there that was a homeless woman that was holding up a sign, need help, and it was a nice day. It was a couple months ago. My windows were rolled down. I didn't want to roll up my windows and like be obnoxious, right? And like treat like act like she was like an animal or something like that.
right.
And so she was asking for help, and I was gonna ignore her, so I smiled at her and I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't have any cash or anything. I mean, I'd love to. I'm sorry." And she was like, "That's all right." And then she kept on going, and then she came back like right before the light changed. And she's like, "I just want to say the fact that you like smiled at me and said like sorry and like good luck means everything to me. Like I don't get that ever."
Right.
And like she said it to me, and I'm like, "That's crazy," you know?
I used to try to carry around little waters for those situations.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
okay, like I don't always give out money, but like if I can give you a water.
Yeah, water bottle or
like,
snack or something like that.
One guy where I used to live would be at the light, and the light took forever, and he'd come up, and I think I gave him money one time so that I could have a conversation with him, and just like talk to him. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And we like became like friendly in that way. Where,
Yeah.
like, I would see him and just be like, "Hey man, like what's going on? How you doing?" He's like out here living life. Like the one time I'm walking home. And I saw him get some money. Like I'm walking from a restaurant down the street. I'm coming this way, and I saw him out. He got some money. He goes off to the side, puts a sign down, pulls out a crack pipe, smokes it.
No way.
And as he's looking over, as he's blowing out the smoke, he sees me. I wave over to him like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Out here trying to get it, man." And I'm like, "Well, as long as you're living."
There was I was just my friend sent me a meme yesterday. It was I gave it. He was like, the meme was I gave $5 to a homeless guy yesterday. And a stranger started lecturing me that he's gonna buy alcohol and drugs with it. I'm like, what do you think I'm gonna do with it? What do you think I'm doing with it?
Yeah, it wasn't doing much better than
This
my
$5 is going to a butt light, dude. It's going to a J, man.
At least he needs it more than me.
So funny, dude.
That's
So
hilarious.
funny. Northern California. Where were you there?
I was in where it's called Fairfield by Vacaville. It's about 30 minutes east of San Francisco.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like you could fly into San Francisco
Fine.
or you could fly into I don't know. Like you're saying the highway?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the highways. I'm terrible.
Dude.
I couldn't tell you the highways here besides 95 and
Yeah, I the throughway. There's only 2 highways.
Yeah.
I drove from Seattle to San Francisco.
Okay.
And
so probably
what?
probably the road you're talking about.
Yeah, no.
There's
There's inland. There's inland, which is like basically there's two highways going down
into it from the bottom and the right. I think
to San Francisco.
to San Francisco, right?
And if over north. But there's two. So Highway 5 is inland. Highway 1 is by the water, just like it is here.
Okay.
And like there's 1 and 1 on East and West Coast, or 101. So I was driving from Seattle, so I took 2 hours. I took 4 hours total out of my way. I drove 2 hours to one, like west to the Pacific Ocean, and then I drove down, and then I had to actually go to San Francisco.
I didn't spend a lot of time in San Francisco. Actually, it was COVID.
Oh
Yeah.
man, so everything was shut down.
Everything. Yeah, my fiance was visiting.
I was there during COVID too, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's when I came to
Well,
visit,
my
dude. Yeah,
fiance-
that's right. I went to that park that overlooks the bridge. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, yep.
It's a big running spot.
That was me and my fiance over taking pictures.
Oh no way! Right next to
Stuff.
me, dude. That's so funny, man.
um, because she was in her master's degree and it was COVID and all the school went online, so she spent a month out with me.
Nice, dude.
It was amazing, but it was quite an experience while we were there. I had only been there for like a week, and I had just came from Korea, so we had spent 9 months apart from each other. So when I got to Cali, she had flown out to be with me.
Yeah.
While we were there, there was wildfires. So we're both new to the area.
I actually know exactly what you're talking about because those wildfires that summer. That was the summer 2020, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those wildfires went all the way up to Seattle, and they were literally. I mean, you could see Mount Rainier from my house, and you could not see 20 feet
It was crazy.
outside
I
of
had
your
never
house.
seen anything like it before. I have pictures that look like
It's from
it's
the
an
redwoods,
Instagram
right?
filter.
It's from that whole area. The whole.
Somebody like flicked a cigarette off the highway and it lit on fire.
Is that what it was?
I believe so, or at least that's what the fire before it was. But like that's a big. It's just like a random like brush fire that'll end up happening. So we had only been there a couple days, and now the whole base is getting evacuated because they're like it's about to blow across. They already flew out all the planes. Like
wow,
FEMA is like coming in. They're like you have to leave the base like, and nobody can stay here unless you're emergency personnel. We had hung out a little bit. Traffic was really bad getting off, and we ended up going. You know how they have hurricane parties here? We were having like a wildfire party.
Nice.
Like we're drinking on base. We're like, we're gonna die. Well, my fiance did not like that, so she's like, let's get out of here. We've waited long enough, so we left. We went slept at a friend's house, but you would turn on your AC in your car, and
smoke.
It would like tell you not to turn on your AC because it looked like it's snowing outside. It was actually just the ash, like landing on your car, just ash. I'm like, this is insane. The sky is bright orange.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see far. It's so hazy. Everything's.
But dude, it travels thousands of miles. It travels all the way through Oregon up through Washington. I mean, it's crazy.
They can't contain it fast enough.
Yeah.
It was a wild experience for sure.
It shows how futile things are a lot of times for people.
Yeah.
You know, really crazy.
So when it was COVID, we went to San Francisco, right? And you know the pier?
Yeah, sure. The Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember the number of it, but like the sea lions are there. You can see Alcatraz.
Yeah.
From there. So we were disappointed because we wanted to see Alcatraz, and it was all closed down. We did see the sea lions, but literally that pier was dead.
Mm-hmm.
There was like nobody out there. All the shops are closed down. So that was our only day in San Francisco. We went by the bridge. We took pictures at that park.
Yeah.
What's funny is it's like you cross over the bridge to San Francisco. It's like 10, 15 degrees colder. Isn't that
crazy how that happens?
It's like insanely. It's like we weren't prepared for this. It was hot where we
Dude, it's so funny that you say that. So, have you ever heard of Crater Lake? Do you know what that is? So Crater Lake was a volcano that thousands of years ago erupted, and it's since been inactive, and it's filled up since with rainwater. So it's the world's like deepest lake technically, because it's a lake like the depth of a volcano, right? And it's in Oregon. It's just north of California. And while we were driving, it was probably 105 degrees in the California desert, going into Oregon, and we start heading up to Crater Lake. Within 15, 20 minutes, there's snow on the ground. And I'm like, what is this, dude? Dude, I'm in love with the West Coast. I love the West Coast. And like,
I wish I would have done more while I was out there. It was one of my biggest regrets being in the military, not exploring more of the areas.
Go with your fiance, dude. You know what you should do? Go for a trip if you can. I don't know how when you can swing it, dude. Yeah. Take a trip and take your time from Seattle down to San Francisco, but there's all these little like beach towns along the Pacific coast, and there's the coolest places to stop, and they're so nice, and the people are incredible, and the landscape and the terrain is always changing. There's black beaches, there's forests, there's regular beaches. The Pacific's pretty cold. It happens to be, it's not like a swimming kind of thing. But
I got in the water while I was there.
Yeah, it's
I should have.
Yeah, it's not
but
fun.
I know it's cold.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I can't recommend the West Coast highly enough for like nature and like incredible travel and like just like you have to spend any money. Just like rent a car and just like to drive up and down, you know? Like it's incredible. It's
One
so
of my
cool.
favorite places to run was where I lived in California because it was just like an open land, like
Mm-hmm.
it was a road that just like nobody really went back. It was like farm fields on both sides, and there's just so much more of that because there's more land.
Yeah.
More
I never ran like I ever ran on the West Coast.
yeah.
Running in Seattle, dude, I'd run 5, 6 miles a day, 7 days a week. I just and like I loved it. Like it was just like you said, the scenery and the nature and yeah, dude, West Coast life is good.
Do you still run that much?
No,
Or
now
not that much?
now I run. So I run every day. I don't do jujitsu, and I only run 4 miles now. I'm not looking to.
Longer. Have you done like a marathon?
No,
No.
I'm not looking to. I look to. I jog because it's challenging for me. So like I like that mental like challenge, and just to be healthy. Like
There's nothing like a run to clear your mind.
yeah, dude.
Like it's crazy. Just working out in general, like going to the weight room, going to jujitsu, things like that. It's all good and fun, but there's just something different about actually going out for a run. You don't even have to.
But it's meditative.
It's meditative.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's just you alone in your thoughts, and you're like able to push through. And
it took me years to start running. Like I've actually I realized
walk, even just going out for a walk by yourself, you get the same meditative feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I started jogging. I didn't realize it even, but like about 10 years ago, and when I started, I would go 2.5 minutes on the treadmill, and then I would walk. And then I'd go another 2.5 minutes, and then I'd walk again. And like I had no stamina. I know a lot of people that are very discouraged by like they can't just start.
That's what you have to do. That's the thing is like too many people think that they need to hit the ground running and be able to do 5 miles, whatever. Like if you start and you have to walk, and then the next day you walk a little bit further. We talked about this last time.
Yeah, or faster.
Bite-sized wins.
Yeah.
Like, don't compare yourself to everybody else or where you want to be. You got to start somewhere.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. If that's a short walk, and then tomorrow you do a shorter or a little bit longer of a walk, eventually you're going to get to a jog. Eventually you're going to get to a run.
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And many people are afraid to take that risk or start.
Life is just about who's willing to go longer before quitting than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's it.
In everything.
It's just who's the last guy to quit. Who's the last guy to call it out. We talked about that last time too.
Yeah.
But
it was.
that was great. Dude, I'm gonna let you go because you got to make your appointment. But I know you're having a great time. So, dude, we'll get some water in you, and we'll get you running. Dude, thanks so much for coming, man. I really appreciate it. And this is always a ton of fun. Thank you.
Of course.
Catch you soon. Awesome.